Hi there, and welcome to Connecting Anoka County. My name is Julie Jepson. I'm with Stepping Stone Emergency Housing. Thanks for watching us today. I am with Jonna Krantz, who also works for Stepping Stone Emergency Housing. Jonna, you're the program director there, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at Stepping Stone?
So as the program director at Stepping Stone, I'm pretty much overall in charge of the different aspects of it, from the advocates, which are our front desk support personnel, to the case managers, just making sure that the overall running of the shelter is running smoothly, and that the residents' needs are getting met.
Wonderful. That's a huge component of it,
Yep.
I know. So, you know, it seems that every day there's a fun day of the month. So I know the other day it was like National Pickle Day or National Sibling Day, and we all kind of make fun of it and have some fun times with it. But for the month of November, what can you tell me is special about the month of November?
November is nationally recognized as Homeless Awareness Month, as well as a week this week, in fact,
Yep.
November 11th through 19th, is designated as the National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week in November. So it's a great month to bring awareness to the hunger and the homelessness.
Yeah. So why is it important to you, and why is it important to you that we bring awareness to homelessness specifically?
Yep, it's very important to me as I work at a homeless shelter. We are the only homeless shelter in Anoka County, and in fact in the SMAC region, which is a continuum of care, that serves homeless adults. We have a capacity for 66 people, 18 plus in our shelter. However, we have a wait list of over 140 people. So the need is very great, and not just in the singles. It's also very much needed in the families and the youth.
Yeah.
We have very limited resources in Anoka County for that, as well as SMAC.
Yeah. What I find amazing is when you talk about SMAC, there's so many acronyms in this industry. In any industry, I have to believe, but for SMAC specifically, can you just describe what that is for those who are viewing?
Oh, absolutely. SMAC is the Suburban Metro Area Continuum of Care. HUD has split the state of Minnesota into 10 continuum of cares. Hennepin is its own, Ramsey is its own, and SMAC is Dakota, Washington, Scott Carver, and us. So pretty much the outer ring around the core of the Twin Cities.
Right. And what I find fascinating is people's reaction when they know what that SMAC, how much land mass that SMAC region encompasses, and then Stepping Stone is the only homeless shelter serving single adults in that 5 counties of Minnesota there.
It is huge.
Yeah.
And you know, as we all hear that Hennepin and Ramsey have a huge population of homeless.
They do, yes.
We are dealing with our own, and it's
We
more
are.
spread out.
It is.
In fact, the only homeless shelter that serves single adults in Hastings closed this month.
Okay, this month, wow. Not a good way to celebrate National Homeless Awareness Month.
Nope, it's not.
So there's a lot of you and I know there's a lot of ins and outs about homelessness and what people can do to help, and what our organizations plus other organizations are doing. But what would you say to someone who's watching right now? How can they get involved? How can they make a difference?
There are lots of ways, beginning with seeking out agencies that are helping homeless, as well as the hunger in that. But the biggest one for me is I'm also the chair of Heading Home at Anoka Housing Collaborative, or HAHC.
Yeah.
And as part of that, that is a community. It's communities, it's agencies, it's governments within Anoka County coming together to talk about homelessness and affordable housing in Anoka County. And that is open to all residents to join us.
Is it? Okay, could you just give an example of some of the organizations that are involved in that Heading Home Anoka Collaborative? Just so other people might recognize some names, might trigger some.
Yep, there are the ones that you think about, like the Salvation Army. We have a Salvation Army office in Blaine. Now they moved from Coon Rapids. We also have the Y, Alexandra House, Anoka County, SEEP. We also have Radius Health that it serves ours, People Incorporated, us as Stepping Stone, Hope for Youth.
And Family Promise.
Family
is also in
Promise,
there,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
Wonderful.
Yep.
It's nice to have people watching this.
Yep.
Might be like, oh yeah, I know that
Yep.
organization.
Yep.
So that's great. And so something is coming up in January of 2018. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep. The federal government has designated that January 24th is the point in time count. So that is designated across the country that January 24th, which is cold here, is the night in which the homeless in the United States are counted.
So people are actually going out into the cold and physically counting people who are homeless.
It also includes those of us in shelter, making sure that our data is up to date for the night, the people that we are serving. But it is actually going out into the communities. There is also some of it that is going into like your Walmarts and your Cubs. Some of it is observation. People are trained in how to observe what homelessness might look like without having to approach those people. But we also have groups that go and look under the bridges and in the known spots in Anoka County where homeless individuals are known to be staying.
So after that count is done, then what happens with those numbers?
The numbers take a while for them to crunch, but they come out as a continuum of care. We get Anoka County numbers as well, but we're also part of the continuum of care. But they
in that SMAC region,
that's
those
SMAC
5
region.
counties. Okay.
Yep. But what it's done for is it helps to inform. Really, what they're doing is public opinion on homelessness, increase public awareness, helps community plan services, so helping Anoka County plan for the services and programs to address the local needs. It also will help us measure our progress in decreasing homelessness. And it helps us to identify the strengths and gaps we have in the community.
Okay. And in the past, from that point in time count, have you seen any decrease in numbers?
We have seen overall homelessness has decreased, and I don't have the exact numbers. But in Anoka, it's also deceiving because anybody who's here in January knows it's not a great time. And we really see kind of a diversion going on with people in the winter time because family and friends are more willing to take people in that are on the edge. And so it's not a true count of everybody that's out there. Plus, there's also homelessness in the Minnesota definition is couch hopping. So that is people that are doubled up. So we can never get a true reflection on that without going door to door. So it's a very limited count, but it allows us to at least see and get out into the community and see where the homeless.
Sure, where they're at.
Yep.
So the pig count is conducted on one of the coldest days in Minnesota. So if someone's not able to get out there and help count homeless individuals, what else can they do?
Attend our Heading Home Anoka Housing Collaborative meetings. These are community meetings that are held the second Wednesday of every month. Right now, they're 12:30 to 2 p.m. and they typically take place at St. Tim's Parish Center, but for December, we'll have to meet at the Rum River Library. So that's one way. Those are monthly Heading Home meetings. But then the other way is that in February and March, we will be looking at having community forums. And we will be getting out into the communities, hopefully into churches, schools, community centers, and having some thoughtful conversation with the citizens, the residents, the agencies, those experiencing homelessness, on what is needed in Anoka County, where we're not as strong as we should be, and where we should be looking to build up our resources.
And so in talking with those communities, you really, from my understanding, is you're really wanting to get feedback from the communities and almost in thinking outside the box. What else can be done? What innovative ways can be done in the community to help the homeless community and those experiencing it? So what examples have you seen throughout Anoka County, Minnesota, and even the greater United States of what you mean by thinking outside the box?
Two examples that I can speak to that I've just recently read about are outside of the state, but one is Detroit, and it's taking some of their blighted neighborhoods and tearing down the housing that is, not foreclosed and just very decrepit, and they're putting up tiny homes. And these are programs that eventually, if the program participant does what they need to do in that, they can eventually own their own tiny home.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it's not big homes, it's very manageable, it's cost effective. They're doing that. And then in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, their government has overwhelmingly approved to further their discussions about 2,000 spots of supportive housing. They're getting great feedback from those that have been homeless and how important supportive housing. And supportive housing is not only housing, it's the wraparound services to ensure that that person can continue to live stably in their home. That's making sure that they have their needs met, their basic needs like food, but also making sure that they're staying in touch with their doctors.
Okay.
And getting resources like that, meeting the needs. It's usually a case manager of some type.
Right. Right.
So that's very innovative for 2000. The West Coast is dealing with some of the worst homelessness.
Yeah.
It's in the paper right now
Sure.
a lot.
Because of the climate, you think?
Also the lack of affordable housing.
Oh, sure.
There's a lot of working homeless,
Yes.
and that's the other
Yes, there are.
perception is that it's not just people who aren't working. There's a lot of
Right.
people who are working who cannot afford the rents.
Yeah, this problem certainly can't be solved by someone just
No.
simply getting a job, that's for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so you talked about the point in time count in January. You talked about community forums in February and March. So what is it that you can suggest that people do now, today, working towards the holidays and for someone to get involved and do something special this season?
I think one is to look at the agencies within Anoka County that are serving the poor and the homeless and the people that are in need. And it's coming up to the holiday time. There's a lot of need for donations of goods to supply people with meals as well as clothing and needs, basic needs that they have. But then also you can go to the Anoka County website and go to basic needs. And take a look there. There's a lot of information on there of areas where they're working on things that need to be done for those that are in need.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like a lot is going on, and just with working with Stepping Stone and working with you at Stepping Stone, we live this every day as our job, but we certainly don't live this every day as our life. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.